Israel has agreed to allow 4-hour daily humanitarian pauses to allow citizens to flee northern Gaza.
The development comes as Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says there is no chance for a ceasefire without the release of hostages. In the meantime, Israel is pressing forward with its airstrikes and ground offensive in Gaza in an attempt to choke off Hamas's power in the territory. The offensive coincides with thousands of civilians fleeing south in an attempt to escape the violence. This as the White House continues to push its ally for pauses in the fighting.
Mr. President, are you frustrated with Prime Minister Netanyahu that he has not listened more to some of the things you have asked him to do?
It's taken a little longer than I hoped.
CBS News contributor Robert Berger joins us now from Jerusalem. Thank you for joining us. What more do we know about the potential for this humanitarian pause in exchange for hostages?
Well, to begin with, we're going to have two 4-hour pauses each day in 2 corridors. The idea is to allow thousands of civilians that are still in northern Gaza, which is the main area of fighting, to move south. And actually, these humanitarian pauses have already been going on unofficially for the past few days. Yesterday, for instance, the UN says 50,000 Palestinians moved to southern Gaza, which is ostensibly safer. So each day you're going to have these corridors. The idea is to get the Palestinian civilians out of the war zone so that Israel can attack the headquarters and command centers of Hamas there in Gaza City, and also perhaps locate those and perhaps rescue some of the hostages.
Robert, we're also seeing more battles in the north between IDF troops and Hezbollah. Talk to us about the status there.
Well, what we're seeing is skirmishes, and they've been pretty much daily skirmishes with Hezbollah firing rockets or anti-tank missiles across the border and Israel retaliating with artillery and airstrikes. It's sort of like a war, not really a war, it's skirmishes on a low burner. The danger is that this could possibly escalate. Right now, it's an annoyance for Israel with the danger of a possible escalation. Remember, Hezbollah is much more powerful than Hamas. They have 150,000 rockets pointed at Israel. They're backed by Iran. But it seems right now that they and Israel are just trying to keep this to skirmishes on a low burner.
And Robert, on top of all of this, there has also been an increase of violence in the West Bank. What have we seen in recent days there?
Well, the Israelis are going after Hamas in the West Bank because they fear basically that a massacre like what happened on October 7th could now happen with Hamas militants in the West Bank. So today they carried out a raid in the Jenin refugee camp and killed, according to Palestinian officials, 7 gunmen. And this has already been going on now pretty much since October 7th. Hundreds have been arrested, maybe 900 Palestinians arrested, mostly members of militant groups, according to the Israeli military. And also dozens have been killed by Israeli forces. Israel is basically using the focus on Gaza to also go after the militants there in the West Bank.
All right, Robert Berger, thank you.
Thank you.
Northern Gaza has not seen a let-up in the fighting. Some areas in the south have also been hit with Israeli airstrikes.
CBS News producer Marwan Al Ghoul is in Rafah, Gaza, and was just meters away from one of those strikes.
Once I finished shooting the middle area in Gaza Strip and to cover the suffer of the displaced people who live to the middle area and the south of Rafah. And while preparing the camera for the stand-up and the piece of the camera, suddenly a massive airstrike hit this house, which consists of 3 floors and full of civilians who displaced from north to the south. Tens of people were killed here, and the people are trying now by their bare hands to pull out the bodies and injured people. Marwan Al Ghoul, CBS News, Gaza.
The United States has stepped up its engagement in countries neighboring Israel.
The Pentagon announced a new pair of airstrikes inside Syria after weeks of rocket and drone strikes on U.S. troops in the region. More than 40 U.S. service members have been injured.
Since our last set of strikes, there have been additional ones, which is why we took another retaliatory strike last night to send a strong message to these proxy groups and to the Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps, the Quds Force, that these are unacceptable. Now, they'll have some choices to make. And if they continue to choose to hit our troops, if they continue to launch these rocket and drone attacks, then we'll continue to do what we need to do to protect ourselves.
CBS News correspondent Natalie Brand joins us now from outside the White House there. Natalie, what more are we learning about this strike?
Hi, Lana, Nancy, good to be with you. Well, the Pentagon says the target of this latest U.S. strike was a weapons storage facility used by Iran's Revolutionary Guard. The U.S. going after storage sites for munitions that could be linked to this series of attacks against U.S. personnel. You mentioned there have been more than 40 since October 17th, and a senior defense official telling reporters last night that we hold Iran, the U.S. holds Iran accountable for these attacks, not just the militia groups, so that the strikes that were taken are targeting the specific facility used by the Revolutionary Guard Corps, along with those militia groups backed by Iran.
Given that, Natalie, does the White House consider this a success?
Well, President Biden was asked about that this morning when leaving the White House, and he said yes, in the sense that they are hitting the targets. And he was also asked whether more strikes could be taken. Will the U.S. hit those facilities again? And he said, if they strike us. That's a message that's been reiterated by the administration, that the U.S. will defend its forces, its personnel, while at the same time doing everything it can to prevent this situation from escalating. The Secretary of State and the President have made clear we do not want conflict with Iran. Again, concerted effort to keep this from growing, but at the same time making it clear that steps will be taken if these attacks continue.
Natalie, I want to unpack this just for a minute because it can be confusing for our viewers. What was happening here was Iranian-backed militants who are trying to take advantage of the situation. They, in this case, had this warehouse, this weapons warehouse in Syria. We've also seen some of these other Iran-backed militias or terrorist organizations trying to take advantage of the situation. Do we expect that we're going to see the United States continue to take action, especially when it's happening in other countries like Syria, Iraq, but it's all kind of a proxy for Iran and their backing of these groups?
Right, and this all comes amid the backdrop of the larger conflict that's playing out in the region, in the Middle East, the war between Israel and Hamas, and these escalations, these attacks did ramp up following that conflict beginning. At the same time, the Pentagon saying this is separate, or after that first strike, saying that the U.S. strikes are separate, and apart from that, sending a clear message to Iran to stop this behavior and stop the conflict from widening. But it's important to note that around half of the attacks that have been experienced so far against U.S. troops actually happened after the first U.S. airstrike. So they clearly didn't get the message the first time. We'll have to wait and see whether this second strike makes it more clear. Lana,
All right.
Nancy.
Natalie Brand, thank you.